How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Eric and this right here is my garage. Now in today's video, what I'm going to do is take a closer look at my 2002 5-speed P11. Now I recently bought this vehicle and I've been driving it to work for a few weeks now, and I've noticed a few things that are wrong with this. So in today's video, we're going to take a closer look at it and we're going to go ahead and try to fix some of the issues that this vehicle has. I did go ahead and fix the sunroof, by the way, so I had to manually close it, and I went ahead and just disconnected the switch for the sunroof so that I don't open it accidentally. What I'm trying to do now is just fix the issues that I know that are wrong with it. I know that it takes a while for it to crank up sometimes, so I'm thinking it's going to be the ignition switch or something wrong with the clutch. So I'm going to try to look at those things today, and I'm going to jack it up to see what's going on underneath. So without any more delay, let's go ahead and get right into the video. So basically, this right here is my P11 that is standard, and in the first video that I made on this vehicle, I kind of briefly went over a few things that are wrong with it. The first thing that you guys probably can notice is that the interior of the vehicle is garbage. So I'm actually embarrassed to have people sit in these seats because they're so filthy. The back seats are not as bad, but the front seats definitely need to be replaced. There's no point in washing this, so I need to get new seats for the front. Also, the door lining material right here is coming off. I've seen people actually just glue these back on, so I might do that. If not, I'll just get a whole black door. I think those look a little bit nicer in my opinion. And then the steering wheel is a little bit chewed up as well. I think whoever owned this vehicle was letting their dog sleep in here, because there's like a whole bunch of fur here all over the place. So it definitely smells like dog in here. Something that I've also noticed with this vehicle is the really bad shaking. So for that, I'm gonna jack it up. But first I wanted to kind of show you guys that it doesn't start sometimes. And the reason for that, I think it might be something with the sensor on the pedal on the clutch, or it might be the ignition switch. So let me demonstrate to you guys what I'm talking about. You'll basically put the key in like you normally do, and then you'll try to turn it on, right? So feet is in there pushing on the clutch. Well, of course it works now because I'm recording, but trust me, it doesn't always do that. See, like right here, it didn't want to start right now. Anyways, that's not the point. The point is that when it doesn't start, I've noticed that if I press the key all the way to the start position and I let go of the clutch and I click it back in there fast, it turns on. So that's why it's I'm suspecting that there's like a sensor that's bad underneath here. So basically when I do that, it turns on. But since a lot of you guys commented that it could be this, I'm gonna go ahead and replace the ignition switch. This is used, but like I said, I've owned a few, not myself, but my family has owned a few P11s and P10s, and I don't see these go out as often. So we'll switch this out just because you guys recommend it, so we'll do that. And then if this issue gets resolved, then we'll know it's this, and if it continues, then we'll look at something else. I almost forgot to mention, since we're in the same topic about the ignition switch, sometimes the radio and the lights and the mirror don't work. Basically all the components that work when you put the vehicle on the ACC on position. Let's say, I think right there it's not working because it's on the on position, or the ACC on position. If I wiggle it back a little bit, it works. You can kind of hear the relay. So right there it stopped working. and then it starts working again. So it's a very small click, but it basically, that doesn't allow for the lights to turn on or the radio. So gonna replace this ignition switch. Once I do this, we'll jack up the vehicle and see what's underneath. Since I had this already apart, I went ahead and investigated further with this clutch pedal. So if you guys look at this sensor right up here, if you guys were able to make that out, once you press the clutch pedal in, it should make contact with it. Now, this nut is loose right here, and this bracket is not in the centered position, so when you press on the clutch, it doesn't make full contact with the sensor. So I think I figured out my issue. So basically I had to tighten down this fastener that holds this sensor and push the bracket a little bit this way towards the pedal so that it makes full contact. So now that I adjusted that clutch pedal and fastened down that fastener, we're gonna go ahead and see if it fixed the issue. So I think it did, because normally it would kind of like take a bit to turn on. So I still need to put everything back together, but I'm seeing that the ignition switch probably was still okay, because this issue with the radio is not resolved. So again, if I back it up a little bit, the radio will work. It's just that these guys do that. They tend to mess up with the display. So not a big deal. I just gotta wiggle it back a little bit and it'll work. In order for me to fix this, I think you have to replace the cylinder in there, which it's not worth doing it. So that takes care of that. Let's go ahead and jack up the vehicle. So it's the next day. I went ahead and put the vehicle on ramps so that I can show you guys underneath the vehicle. But before I do, let me go ahead and talk to you guys about some of the things that I found that are wrong here on the engine bay. So one of the first things you guys can see is that the valve cover gasket is leaking pretty bad. I also need to replace the distributor seal, which I'm gonna try to do a video on that. The power steering reservoir has a leak, so it's probably one of those lines that go to the pump. The actual high pressure power steering line doesn't seem to be leaking. It looks like it's probably residue from this line that's kind of dropping onto the other line. So I'm gonna attack this first and then see if it fixes that. Other than that, these motor mounts look a little bit dry, rotted, so probably replace those in the future. The actual motor mounts that are in the middle of the cross member right here look to be okay. The transmission mount looks like it probably needs to be changed as well. But that's pretty much everything that's wrong right here on the top of the engine. There's not too many issues that I'm seeing, which is good. So let's go ahead and go underneath to see if we can find anything else. The first thing that I noticed when I went underneath the vehicle was this connection right here that was broken. So there's a sensor, I believe, that this connection goes to that is broken right here. I'm not exactly sure what that does. If anybody does know, please comment down below so that I can try to replace that. I'm not sure exactly, like how I said, what it does. The car seems to drive fine without it connected, but I probably should replace that. This is a close-up of the rear mount. As you guys can see, it's not broken or anything. I also noticed that the transmission is leaking, so there is a lot of gear oil right here that's building up. I think what's wrong is the drive shaft seals are bad, so I'm gonna have to replace that. on both sides, which shouldn't be too much of an issue. I've done a video showing you guys how to do this on my automatic P11. Go ahead and click above so that you guys can see how that's done. Another issue that I found is this lower control arm. As you guys can see, the bushing is bad on this right here. There is a space where there shouldn't be. So what is going to happen when you drive this vehicle is that this is going to go side to side. This could mimic steering torque or torque steer, and that's something that I've noticed a lot. So if I replace this, I'm pretty sure it's gonna fix the issue that I'm feeling when I'm driving the vehicle. You guys can also see the power steering line from this view right here, and like how I said, it looks like it's leaking, but it's actually the line that's above it that is just dripping onto the power steering line. The actual pump is not leaking itself, so I'm pretty happy about that. I did make a video showing you guys how to rebuild this pump and how to remove this power steering line in another video, so go ahead and click above so that you guys can watch it. I'm also noticing that the radiator was replaced on this vehicle not too long ago, because a lot of the connections have been moved around and not put back in the same spot. Also, the starter has also been replaced. It also looks like it's in newer condition. It also looks like I found out where most of the rattling is coming from. It's this loose fastener right here. This is pretty much going to wrap up the end of the video. I kind of covered a lot of different things in today's video, but I hope you guys did find it entertaining. This wouldn't be a P11 video if I didn't show you guys my P11, which is right over here. It's kind of kept away in storage because I have some plans for it that you guys probably already know. I'm going to try to make it into a 5-lug swap, so I'm trying to get all the parts for that. But as far as this vehicle goes, I'm going to try to focus on making it faster, so who knows, maybe in the future I'll make it turbo. So if you guys did find this video entertaining, make sure to give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and follow me on Instagram at Eric's DIY Garage. I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out. I have a G over there, one over here, one right here, and another one right there, and of course the charger.